Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are here Tuesday nights. That means, once again, we're heading into Battle World, as we always do. Killian's with me, Coriander, and of course, Eric. And tonight, guys, we're heading into the future, or maybe it's called the not so distant future. And this this should be a really good battle and a discussion. Just a blanket hello to you guys that are with us in the chat, and for those coming in, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Just to say hey to a few of you guys. Board now is in the house. All right, what's up? We got Jinzo in the chat. What's up? Good to see you. Paula is with us, of course,
Hey,
ready
Paula.
to rock and roll. I love this with Paula. She says, "I have never seen these movies, but I will try my best." See, I like that attitude. And
Hmm.
trust me, Paula, after tonight, you might want to check these out.
Oh yeah.
They are cult classics, both of them. All right, and both of them making a resurgence at some point. I mean, Mad Max will be first, but they're working on a new Escape from New York. Melissa, what's up? Good to see you. We got the general in the chat. What's up, Val? Good to
Hey,
see you
Val.
tonight. Glad you're with us. All right. Let's see. Film Kid in the chat. What's up, Film Kid? All right. Uh Danielle says cheese versus cheese. There you go. I like that. I like that. RJ in the chat saying two great movies, one may win. Yeah, it sounds like something from Thunderdome, doesn't it?
Hmm.
I love it. And Gene's in the chat. What's up, Gene? Good to see you. All right. And Paula's going to be watching Saw 2 tonight. Paula just saw the first Saw film and said she liked it.
Nice.
I said,
Wow.
welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club. I love it. It's a great franchise.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, guys. So tonight we are heading into apocalyptic territory, and let's first find out officially who we have for our contestants. Eric, we're going to start with you. Who is in corner number 1?
Okay. When New York has become a maximum security prison for the world's most awful criminals, it's definitely the last place the president of the United States wants to crash into. But when you need a rescue mission, you get the best. And to ensure that the job is done, you make sure to inject him with some explosives that will go off if he fails. However, this competitor can handle it. He can handle it all, whether it's gunfights, minefields, or even a wrestling match to the death against Ox Baker, of all people. A man so cool that Metal Gear Solid 2 based their character after him. Representing John Carpenter, we have the man that will kill you later if he's too tired to do it now, Snake Plissken in Escape from New York.
All right. I like that. That was good, man. All right. Coriander, who do we have in corner number 2?
All right, guys. Watch your reckless driving because the main force police will hunt you down. With a happy-go-lucky cop like the Goose and Max Rocktansky taking down scum, it won't matter if you're a night rider or a toe cutter. Nothing can save you. People don't believe in heroes anymore, but they will believe in 600 horsepower through the wheels of fuel injection vengeance. Before he became a road warrior, he got mad. Here's Mad Max.
All right. Okay, Kill. Let's go to Kill's commentary. We're going back to the look. Anytime I think of these two movies, man, I think about us and our cousins watching them on Saturday afternoons, bro. What you guys say about this?
First off, you are a bastard for making us do this. And look, we always say there's no lying here, so we don't just vote with our hearts. We vote on the truth. It's 100% true here. This is going to be hard. This is going to be evil and good all in the same fell swoop. Look, I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to say a lot about these two movies, but I do hear a high-powered engine and I hear a glider landing on the Empire State Building. I don't know.
There you go, man. There you go. This is going to be one of those great matchups. Two cult classics, two cult figures. And I don't know what's going to happen, but for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax as we get ready to head into Battle World. Snake versus Max. You know what time it is.
S.D. Pliskin, American, Lieutenant, Special Forces Unit Black Light.
I'm ready.
I'm a fuel-injected suicide machine. I am a rocker. I'm a roller. I'm a
There it is. Whew, you got to love it, man. Fuel injected vengeance. Real quick before we get going, we got May in the chat. What's up, May? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right. Awesome. And hey, we got a channel member anniversary for Jack. 7 months, man. 7 months. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of the support. He says, where's the wrench? The wrenches don't get given out, man, because we've got tons of mods. Hey, look, Danielle saying all I can hear is Tina Turner singing, "We don't need another hero." There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So we're going to do this as we always do it. We're going to go category by category. We're going to give the point to the movie that we think deserves it. And for you guys in the chat, definitely let us know which movie gets the point. We won't get to everyone's comment, but if you choose to do a super chat, we'll make sure we get to your comment. And also you can use those points to go to the movie of your choice. So we're going to do this like we always do it. Eric, we're going to start with the poster work for these films. The poster work for these films. We have the poster for Mad Max, and then we also have the poster for Escape from New York. Eric, who gets the point and why?
Oh, I'm full on going Escape from New York. Mad Max is all right. You know, I don't love or hate it, but I love the Escape from New York poster. I love, first off, the font of the red against the black. But what I really like is you see how small the group is compared to how big New York is. And that's what I think helps sell the story, especially if you only know the title. And the fact that it's the Statue of Liberty's head, you know, just for like size value to show how small they are in the background, I think that helps it a lot too. And just the fact that it's kind of tilted and off, you know, that's just kind of a cool effect. So,
all right, okay, Kill. How about you?
I love both of these posters, but I have to go with Escape from New York. Just the sheer fact of, you know, just like Eric said, I love the font, I love the panic that's going on in the streets. And anytime you have the Statue of Liberty's head in the streets, I don't care if it's Cloverfield, if it's G.I. Joe, the animated movie, anytime the Statue of Liberty is being attacked, and you guys know what I'm talking about,
Right.
You know, or the head is ripped off and tossed down the street like a bowling ball. We don't know. I don't know what did that. The Cloverfield monster. I don't know. But anytime you have that, that stands out because that's such an icon and it's worldwide known. You know, everyone knows the Statue of Liberty. So yeah, I got to go with Escape on this one.
All right, Coriander, how about you?
I mean, yeah, Headless Liberty there, that totally piques curiosity. So that, and you get the people running, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it's better than just some dude standing in the middle of the poster with a gun, looking like is he getting ready to go out of space? I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, I really do love both of these posters, and I think the Mad Max poster is really cool, actually, because again, it's a futuristic version of the cops and the main force police, and it obviously looks very stylized. The Mad Max posters are really interesting for the whole franchise, but the point has to go to Escape from New York. There's no doubt about it. You guys said it. I think the thing I love most about it too is that it is that tilted view, so it just looks
Mhm.
kind of off, and it just draws you into the poster. It really, really does. And obviously, like you were saying too, Kill, anytime that you have the Statue of Liberty, and destruction, it just looks, it just makes you so curious. It makes you so interested in what's going on. So it's actually one of my favorite posters. It really, really is. So this one was easy, but I do love both posters though. All right. Real quick too in the chat, just to jump in, RJ saying Escape from New York, love the poster. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Danielle was saying Escape for the poster, products of their times. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean,
Mhm.
posters, and when we do these episodes, that's why we talk about poster work, because I think it kind of brings you back a little bit, especially for a lot of these older films. These are the things that you would see like in the video stores and in the theaters. And a lot of times it was a big part of their marketing. I mean, there was no internet back then. So the poster work really did a lot to kind of grab people's attention. Paula said she's going with Mad Max. All right. Board now is going with Escape, and Mayanne is going with the Escape poster. All right. Very, very cool. Okay, Eric. Next up, we're going to be talking about the taglines.
Okay.
The taglines for each movie. At first, we're going to start with Mad Max. When the gangs take over the highway, remember, he's on your side. Okay, so that's for Mad Max. And then for Escape from New York City is a walled maximum security prison. Breaking out is impossible. Breaking in is insane.
Mm.
Point.
I kind of like them both.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Escape from New York, but I do want to give props to Mad Max because that gives me like a superhero vibe, and I really
Mm,
like that one. But
right.
Escape from New York, it's selling, you know, why the title and the poster. It works perfectly because if you want to get out, why the hell do you want to get in to begin with? You know what I mean? So I think it really
Right.
does this job.
All right. Okay. Kill, how about you?
I like them both, and I normally don't like wordy ones, but I'm going with Escape on here because not only does Escape let you know the date that takes place, it
Mhm,
it pretty much gives you a quick synopsis of the entire movie that
mhm,
makes me want to see it.
mhm,
Because it's given a brief outline of it and just how bad this place is now, and it builds the intrigue. So yeah,
mhm.
I'm going with Escape on this one.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
So you got to read them both for me again, please.
Escape from New York is 1997. New York is a walled maximum security prison. Breaking out is impossible. Breaking in is insane. And then for Mad Max, we've got when the gangs take over the highway, remember, he's on your side.
Hmm. I'm gonna give it to Max. Yeah.
All right. Any particular reason?
Um. You know. You can see people are trying to bust out of there. It's just kind of stating. I don't know. At least the other one is yeah, it works with it, but the gangs. You don't know what you're getting into. Not that you really know with Escape. But anyway,
Yeah.
don't ask that. Don't ask me that. No,
Okay. Well, I have to ask you that. Uh,
you don't though.
real
Just
quick, real quick.
yes or no, right?
Uh,
No. Which one?
wow. Danielle saying for tagline, she's going with Escape, definitely gives more insight Max's doesn't do it justice, in my opinion. Okay. Man, say them again, please. You guys. Val, reminding people, please hit the like button. It definitely helps us out. Mayan's going with Mad Max. We got Strange Monkey in the house. What's up,
Monkey.
man? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Board Now is going with Mad Max as well. Okay. For me, this is actually pretty tough because I think both of these taglines are similar in the fact that they give you some info. But I actually have to go with Max on this one. And part of the tagline, you see the tagline usually on the poster. And so, I already know the name of the movie. I've seen the poster, and he's obviously some type of a cop in the future, or as they say in the movie, the not too distant future. But the fact that it says that the gangs are taking over the highway, and then all it says is just remember he's on your side. It's like that's pretty intriguing. So I'm gonna slightly give the edge to Mad Max on this one. Okay, all right, Eric. Let's move on to the opening of the film, which is usually it's either a couple minutes, could be up to about 15 minutes. Which movie do you want to give the point to?
Oh, this is easy street for me. We're going Mad Max. Not saying nothing really happens in Escape from New York, but nothing really happens in Escape from New York. You're already got how many car crashes and this long ass chase in Mad Max? It's no contest between the two for the opening. Mad Max all the way.
Okay, all right, Kill. How about you?
I find this one hard because they're both doing two separate things.
Right.
I'm going with Escape from New York on this one. And my reasoning for that is yes, there's lots of crazy action in Mad Max, but the whole movie is lots of crazy action. With Escape from New York, I'm seeing a version of New York that looks like Alcatraz. Like that's different. With Mad Max, I'm seeing, and no disrespect to it, it's Australia. I'm seeing a lot of dirt roads and people driving fast and being insane. I'm intrigued with that, but I'm intrigued to see this New York that looks like Alcatraz. I'm intrigued to hear the narration talking about, the fall of civilization and, seeing all these futuristic computer graphics and things like that. And then on top of that, then I'm seeing Snake, and it's like, okay, this dude is like, he's clearly a badass. He's wearing an eye patch, so he's a badass. All right.
Right.
And I'm just really intrigued. I'm seeing a lot of great character actors who are also badasses in their own respect, but are kind of, tipping the hat to this guy. Like, hold up. So for me, slightly, I'm going with Escape just because I want to know more about New York, because that's a big character too. And then on top of it, you got Snake.
All right.
So that's why I'm going with that.
All right. Coriander, how about you?
Both of the openings, they're great. Escape from New York, yeah, it's interesting to find out what he's, gonna do. You see the president go down. And yeah, you get those awesome Atari graphics. It's like, no, with Mad Max, and yeah, I may have just aged myself there, but whatever. But Mad Max, let me tell you, it's ageless. It starts out with a bang and it ends with a bang, and it instantly hooks you. At least it did for me, and I have to give it to Mad Max. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. For me, both of these openings they're really good openings. And Kill, you said it really well. They're doing two different things. So it is what it is. We still have to compare them to each other. But the thing that is interesting about Escape from New York, like you said, it's really developing this character of the city and what it looks like to us now, which is pretty messed up. And you also get introduced to a lot of these characters that are going to play an important role. And with Max, is basically a day in the life, right? Of Max and Goose and the squad. But I will slightly give this to Max. And the reason that I will is because it's kind of like it's just ramping up. There's this chase, and you're thinking, well, okay, is this going to get bad? Because Max is chilling. Max is chilling in the opening. You know, he's not even a part of the first wave going after the Knight Rider. You know, he's kind of sitting back, and then after everyone's like going through a bunch of crap, then Goose is like, Max, we're out of it. And he's like, okay, you ready? You know, he's like just chilling out. So it was also a great intro to him and kind of giving a sense of how his character is going to be. So I'm gonna slightly give this one to Mad Max, and it's some awesome action, of course. All right. Real quick too in the chat, let's see, we've got and thank you very much, Val. We've got the link for Eric's channel in the live chat, so make sure if you haven't already subscribe to Eric's channel.
Thanks, Val.
Yeah, Paul is going with Mad Max, and Board Now is going with Mad Max, saying a little bit more impact. RJ saying Mad Max, I am the Knight Rider. Yep, absolutely. Danielle is going with Escape for the opening. Okay. All right. And she says Mad Max is my favorite movie of the two, so it seems strange I haven't voted for it yet. Well, that's exactly why we do it this way. Because this way you can give points based upon the categories. Well said. Well said. And that's really cool, Danielle. Strange Monkey saying, as much as I love both films, Mad Max gets the best opening. It was very fast-paced and action-packed, not taking any away from Escape from New York. It perfectly sets up the unique situation. All right. Very, very cool. All right. Next category. We're going to go with the music, Eric. The music in these two films. Which score gets the point?
This one's tough for me. Max uses the music better, I think. But if we're going to be honest, I can't. For me, you can't beat that opening theme to Escape from New York. That's one of I think personally one of John Carpenter's best. And if this might seem blasphemous, I would actually put it above Halloween. I love it that much. So I'm going Escape from New York. Hard to beat that theme for me.
All right. Kill, how about you?
The only thing that can beat John Carpenter music is John Carpenter music. And it's always wrong. I'm sorry. Like literally every time. I couldn't have said it better. I agree with everything Eric just said. And I'll go one step further. Anytime Snake is being chased, when that chase sequence music kind of comes in, it's kind of, it's got the synthetics, but it's also kind of funky. And it's like, oh man, and he's just like running, like it's just so good. The music in Mad Max is good too, but unfortunately, you're going against Carpenter, so I got to go with Escape.
All right. Okay, Coriander, how about you?
I agree. It has to go to Escape. It's whenever it was on, it was like catchy, and you just enjoyed it. Not that Mad Max's music was bad, because it wasn't. But like Killian said, up against, Escape from New York, there's, no question. So there you go.
All right.
I want to say this. I was watching this in the living room. Rachel was on the couch. She wasn't paying attention. She was like on her iPad or something. But when that opening theme to Escape from New York was playing, I was even seeing her, bopping her head, and you could tell it was one of those she didn't even know she was doing it situations. It's
wow.
that damn good.
That's
that is awesome, man.
Yeah.
That would have been so cool if you could have gotten some video of that. That
she'd kill
like,
me.
Well, I know, but you know what I mean? Like when someone is just automatically doing something like, she doesn't know the movie, but she's digging the music, that's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
For me, now both of these movies have great music. And I do think that Max has some really good music, like a lot of good themes throughout. And actually, I agree with you, Eric. I think it may be used better in the sense of throughout the whole movie, because there's different aspects. Because you've got the intense scores, but you also have the really soft scores, especially when he's with Jesse. And they're, doing their vacationing, and some really sweet moments of the music. But there's no lying here. It's got to go to Escape from New York. It just has to. And like you said, Kill, basically the only way that Carpenter's going to lose is if it's Carpenter I have this on vinyl. It's an amazing soundtrack. And if you guys ever get the chance to on YouTube, you can look up John Carpenter Escape from New York live. He does it in a concert, and he has behind him this huge screen where it's showing, parts of the movie. It's almost like a music video, and he's playing this live. He does all of his themes live. I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of his music. And he is jamming on this theme. I mean, like you got the drums, dun, 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 dun. It is so cool, man. Seriously. So yeah, I got to give this point to Escape from New York. It's even the funky, like you said, Kill, the funky music when the Duke is around,
Yeah.
It's some cool stuff,
Wow.
man. So yeah, that's right.
What
That's
was
right.
it? No.
You heard it. Maybe you'll
I
see it
did,
on
but you were kind of killing it, so I kind of
Yeah.
had to what? No.
Maybe you'll see it on a super chat clip. You never know. Board now saying escape easy. All right. Paul is holding the torch. She's going with Mad Max. All right. Danielle saying I don't recall the music of either. Wow. So no vote.
Wow. Mm,
That's
yeah.
something. Ooh.
Mhm.
Some good music in both, but especially Escape from New York. All right. Eric, next category, the story. Which movie has the better story? Who gets the point?
You know what? I'm gonna give it to Mad Max. They're both kind of, I don't want to say plain, but they're both kind of simple. You know what I mean? One's a rescue mission, and then one is just a cop being a cop until his family gets taken out. And that's why I'm going to give it to Mad Max, because I'm a sucker for a revenge tale, and it ends up becoming a revenge tale by the end of the film, and it's executed perfectly. So I'm going Mad Max.
All right. Okay. Kill. How about you?
This is tough because two things can be true. Both stories are pretty basic yet pretty complex. I'm going to slightly go with Mad Max only because you learn more about Max than you do about Snake.
Okay.
Snake, you hear a lot of hearsay of what he did during the war and things like that, but you don't really get as much. Whereas Max, this is truly an origin story. Snake is kind of already this badass, and he kind of doesn't trust the government and the system anyway. But Max, he's still, he's a good guy. He's being a cop and doing the right thing until he loses what's most precious to him. And with that being said, I got to go with Mad Max on this.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
I mean, I'm a sucker for a love revenge story, so I have to give it to Mad Max. His poor wife and child were, run down, and he runs to them and sees them on the ground, and I could just imagine how horrific that could be. And you feel for the guy, and I gotta give it to Mad Max. Yeah.
All right. Okay. For me, both of these stories are really good. I mean, yes, they're simple, but within the context of what's going on, I think they're really good stories. With Escape from New York, written by Carpenter and Nick Castle, the Shape, the OG Shape himself. I mean, that's a great idea. A whole city is basically a prison, a maximum security prison. And the idea of sending someone in to rescue the president is just such a cool idea. And we've seen it copied and imitated so many times since then. And of course, with Mad Max, it's a tale of revenge ultimately. But the thing about Max, and I'm going to give the point to Max, and I was saying this when we were watching this together, it's almost like Max is like 4 movies in one. You have the beginning of it, which is basically showing him as a cop and his day in and day out, and then of course you have the whole scene with the bikers and the toe cutter, and they're causing mayhem. You have him and Jesse going on vacation because he's kind of retiring from the force, and then of course the revenge aspect, and it just all goes together pretty seamlessly. And for Mel Gibson, you said it really well, Coriander. Mel Gibson had to play multiple parts on the spectrum. You know, he's very intense. He was kind of quiet, but he also had those tender moments with Jesse, you know, and showing that, you know, he loves his family and he wanted to retire and get away from this crazy world, this crazy life that he lived. And of course, with Goose, what happened with Goose, which was horrific.
Mhm.
So he had to go into a lot of places. And so for that reason, I'm going to have to edge this one out to Mad Max for the story. Okay, real quick too in the chat to catch up with these guys. Danielle saying she's going with Mad Max for the story. It had more depth because he had to find a part of himself he let go long ago. Well said. Yeah. Bored Now saying they're going with Escape has the stronger characters and social themes. Okay. All right. Paula making a good point here. Without Mad Max, there'd be no Fast and Furious. So Mad Max. There you
Mhm.
go. I like that. Frank's Media in the chat saying, what's going on? What's going on? Good to have you here. All right. Going with Mad Max. Okay. And Val, thank you for putting the links in the channel. If you'd like to become a channel member, you can just click that link or hit the join button next to the subscribe button and join us for exclusive streams, watch parties, and so forth, or joining our Patreon. Thank you so much, Val. Appreciate that. Okay, our next category, Eric, supporting characters. Which movie had the best supporting characters? So of course, this doesn't include Max or Snake.
I'm gonna go Escape from New York then, because I mean, Toe Cutter's a great villain, and I love Goose. But
Mhm.
this time, I think the fact that we have more characters in Escape helps. Ernest Borgnine is great. You know,
Yeah.
Isaac Hayes as the Duke is cool as hell. You
Mhm.
know, you got Adrienne Barbeau, and then you got the Brain, and then of course Donald Pleasance as an asshole president. You know what I mean? You don't really see that in like movies where someone has to rescue the president. The president's always either a badass or a good guy. We get the
Yeah.
opposite here, and I like that. So I'm going Escape from New York.
All right. Kill, how about you?
This is to me it's a little unfair because I agree with Eric. You know, other than Goose and Toe Cutter, you know, and maybe Max's wife, you know,
Jesse.
it's slim pickings over there. On Escape, you have interesting characters that are kind of screwing Snake into doing this, you know, with the government guys and so forth, great actors. And then once you're there in New York, it's so many memorable character actors that play
Mhm.
awesome characters: Isaac Hayes, Adrienne Barbeau, Ernest Borgnine, you know, and
Tom Atkins.
well,
Tom
yeah,
Atkins,
Tom
Charles
Atkins. Well,
Cyphers,
yes,
the
Mhm.
Halloween
uh,
crew.
Yeah.
yeah, in the house. So it's just so many of them, and even the characters who I don't even know their names. I don't know the first guy that the government people see that says, "Hey, here's the president's finger. You got 19 seconds to leave."
Romero,
19,
yeah.
18. You know, it's like I don't know that guy, but he has a presence, you know, and he looks
Yeah.
crazy as hell. So yeah, I got to go with Escape on this one. This is an easy street for me, unfortunately.
All right. Okay. How about you, Coriander?
I mean, who wouldn't pick Escape from New York? You know, both of you guys said it. There's so many incredible actors in this that, yeah, I mean, if you don't pick it, it's crazy.
Wow. So what if I pick Mad Max? I'm just joking.
I'd be like,
I'm just playing.
dude, you're wrong,
I'm
right?
just
Because sometimes you're pretty much saying that my answer's wrong. You're
But
wrong.
no.
there's no car in
Tell the
Escape.
truth.
Though.
There's no
That's
lying
true.
here,
That is true.
right?
I will say both movies they do have some great characters and like you were saying, Kill. I think in Max again, Jesse. I think she had a really good part. I mean, definitely in the story, you feel that when it happens because there was some great setup before then. They had a lot of tender moments. I mean, you had when Goose bit it. Max was basically opening up to Jesse and just talking about his life and his father, and so that was really a cool scene. But like you guys said, it has to go to Escape from New York, and I think it's also a movie that's more about not just Snake, right? You know, you have all these other characters that have some really great screen time and great screen moments, and most notably, like you said too, Eric, Ernest Borgnine. I mean,
Mhm.
he was just absolutely amazing. Lee Van Cleef, guys, like was great as Hulk. Tom Atkins always, classes up the joint. So many great actors, and like I said, you got the Halloween crew, Charles Cyphers from Halloween, Sheriff Brackett himself. You got Nancy Stevens, Nurse Marion. So it's like so many
Tom
people.
Atkins.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Season of the Witch.
I thought I said Tom. Yeah. It's so many. Isaac Hayes as well. So it's a really good cast. So this has to go to Escape from New York. All right, real quick too in the chat. Let's see. We've got Gina. Gina's in the chat. What's going on, Gina? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Frank saying Mad Max is a better movie, but I would watch Escape almost every time as it's just fun and ridiculous movie to watch. All right. Paula is going with Mad Max. Danielle is saying Mad Max. All of the supporting characters were memorable, even if their names were not. Okay. We got Jason in the chat. What's going on? Board Now is saying Escape for this one. Impressive cast. One of the more underrated Harry Dean Stanton roles. That's right. I mean, Harry Dean Stanton, man, very, very cool performance as the Brain. And that's right, Val. There's no lying. There is no lying. All right. Next category. Let's go to the director, George Miller or John Carpenter. For these films alone, Eric, who did the better job as a director?
I'm going George Miller. And the reason why I'm going with George Miller is just the way he was able to keep up with the action so well.
Mhm.
And that was a big feat. And
Yeah.
I don't know how many movies Miller had done before this, but I'm pretty sure this was early in his career.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to see what he did. And even though we're just talking about this first film, it's just amazing what he did. And
Mhm.
just how he's also get some of these performances out, just like how he was able to help the actor who played Toe Cutter just be just a disgusting, evil human being. And you need that when you have this great of a hero type of thing. So I got to go Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was guerrilla style.
Mhm.
What they were doing. I mean, like they were just making things happen on the fly. And somehow it's funny because we've talked about the Mad Max films, and it'd be great to get back into them at some point. But they were able to do so much with so little. And when you watch the movie, it feels bigger and more polished than it really is. You know what I mean? As far as the experience level of everyone, George Miller included. Kill, how about you?
You kind of just said some of the stuff I was going to say. Both guys did a great job. I'm going to go with Miller on this one because of literally a lot of the things he was doing in this movie hadn't been done. And it was very, like Knight said, guerrilla style. They didn't have permits to film on the roads like they were burning it up, speeding, and so forth. They just kind of did it. They had like real gangs kind of in there too. Like, hey, just ride on your motorcycle and we're gonna film you guys. Just be crazy,
Right.
And also on top of that, all of the vehicular stuff. I mean, you have a great actor in Mel Gibson. He's a young actor this time, but he is very much a talented actor, and he had to go to some dark places. But on top of that, filming all these chases, explosions, and so forth. And no disrespect to Carpenter, there weren't really a lot of vehicular chases. I mean, there was some vehicle stuff, but it was mainly a lot of gunplay and so forth. And once again, also the contrast, Escape from New York is very dark and Mad Max is very bright. So you see everything. There's no there's no hiding. You can't hide anything. Not that Carpenter was hiding anything, but they both did a great job, but I slightly have to give it to Miller.
All right. Grander, how about you?
I have to give it to Miller also. I mean, it's crazy to think of the car chases that he was filming, like Killian was saying, the bikers, the speed that they were going at. I mean, something could have gone really, really terribly wrong. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy that nothing really did. So yeah, I just think with this chaotic, crazy movie, he put it together so well. And yeah, Carpenter did good too, but that it didn't age very well. Like I said, those graphics just kind of threw me out of it, so
Well, it's
yeah.
only it's like a minute in the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie.
Still though, even like no, I'm sorry. Just some things were just too, it just didn't work for me. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. To me, I think, and I echo what you guys have said. Both directors did a heck of a job. And, I think with John Carpenter, this is an interesting thing to answer because I think both directors did a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Like John Carpenter, within New York, there was a lot of gunplay, but there was also the fight scene in the Coliseum, which ironically, the Mad Max franchise would become very well known for that type of thing, like in Thunderdome. But Escape from New York kind of beat it to the punch in a way. But you also have, all of the stuff with the gangs in New York and Snake running away and the espionage and so forth. Whereas with Mad Max, there's a lot of the road stuff, the vehicle stunts, but it also has moments where the characters are able to breathe. The camaraderie with Max and Goose, showing how criminals can kind of evade the law and the justice system because that's so broken. And of course, the revenge at the end. So both directors are doing a lot, but I've got to give this to George Miller because of the fact, and you guys said it, those stunts, I mean, were just some crazy stunts. People were getting hurt doing this movie.
Mhm.
And it was the type of thing where you had never seen that type of stuff. Like George Miller created a blueprint for this type of film that he obviously bettered as the franchise went on. So I've got to edge it out to George Miller on this one. I just think that he was dealing with a whole bunch of variables and was able to keep it all together. So, all right. Real quick, too, in the chat to catch up with these guys, we got Russell coming into the chat. What's going on, Russell? Hope you're doing well. Good to have you here.
Hello.
And board now is going to go with John Carpenter. Okay. Paula is going with George Miller. All right. Danielle is also going with George Miller. We got American Turkey Burger in the house saying, oh, shoot, two favorites of mine. That's right. That's what we're doing. We try to do it every week. Paula saying George Miller. Okay, for director. Okay. American Turkey Burger saying it's a tough one. It really is tough. Russell saying I love both films. Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah.
They really are. Okay, let's go to our next category. We were going to get here, Eric. The atmosphere of the films. The atmosphere. Who gets the point?
Okay. Yeah, the way I'm going to look at it is we're both looking at these, I guess you say, environments being very dangerous. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm going to go towards Mad Max. And as dangerous as New York is with, to put it a better way, a lot of the freaks out there, the criminals, and then just, even the Duke gang, stuff like that. Mad Max is in the middle of nowhere. And Escape from New York is scary, but there's a lot of people to add to that fear. I'm just as scared, if not more scared, in the Mad Max world with less people. So that's why I think, because of how scary, even a Knight Rider was scary as hell, and we never saw him outside of the car, really. I think Mad Max has a more uncomfortable atmosphere, and I know that's what we're trying to get from both films. So,
okay, all right, Kill. How about you?
The way I'm going to look at atmosphere, because this is tough. I'm going to judge it based on keeping you in that atmosphere. And with what I mean by that is the protagonist, for the most part, Max, there are those down times when Max is at home or on vacation. So
Mhm.
you don't have the atmosphere of insanity, of the road wars and the gangs and so forth as much. Whereas from New York, once he's in New York, that's a character. Every other
Mhm.
street that we used to know as, oh, I know that street. That's a good place now. Now it's a certain gang that works for the Duke. Certain cannibals are on this block and so forth, and things of that nature. So I'm gonna slightly go with Escape only because Snake is always in the atmosphere the whole time that we're really following him on this adventure. But they both have great atmosphere, and they're both very different. One is
Mhm.
nighttime, one's the daytime, one's a desert, one's a city, one's an
Mm.
urban sprawl, one is a very rural, desolate landscape.
Right.
They both do it good, but I'm slightly going for Escape.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
I mean, Killian said it right there. I have to go with Escape also. Um, I mean, with all the gangs and then the sewer people that crawl out, and I mean, they're everywhere. You think you can escape, but you really can't.
Mm.
And I mean, yeah, they're both so different. And again, Killian said it pretty damn good where he's in it the whole time and he can't get out of the atmosphere. So
Mhm.
yeah, I
All right.
definitely have to give it to New York.
All right. Yeah, for me, I think that both of these, and you guys said it pretty well. There's different things going on. One is most notably in the day, and like you said too, Kill. You can see everything. Like there's no hiding anything. And the other one is at night mostly, except a couple of day shots, but it's mostly at night, and it's dark and it's dirty, and you don't know where you're at. You can barely see some things. So there's a lot of contrast between the two of them. But when I'm thinking about atmosphere, I think I got to edge this out to Escape from New York as well. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because of the fact that with the situation of Snake going into New York to rescue the president, we have no idea what to expect, throughout at least 75% of the film. Like we're learning about New York as he's learning about New York because he's never been there, as far as it being a maximum security prison. With Mad Max, there's great atmosphere throughout it, but there's also a lot of it that you can kind of guess. You're on the open road, the Australian outback, and so there's not as much curiosity in that for me. Whereas with Escape from New York, it's kind of like, okay, what's next? What is this gang going to do? What is this person going to do? All these thugs that work for the Duke, and you got Brain, and he's trying to double cross, and he's got a headquarters at the public library and stuff like that. So it's like really a lot of cool moments throughout Escape that really build upon a really interesting sense of atmosphere. So I'm going to edge it out to Escape. All right. Real quick, too, let's see. Danielle saying, I voted for Mad Max. It drew me in, very immersive and intense scenes, camera usage. Escape was too generic for its time, in my opinion. Wow. Okay. Board now is going with Mad Max on this one. Paul is going with Mad Max. Okay. We got Scott in the chat. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Let's see. And he's saying that he's going to go with Escape from New York. Okay, for atmosphere. Very cool. Elm Street's in the chat. What's up, man? Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well. He's going with Escape from New York for atmosphere. And we got May that is going with Mad Max. Okay, very cool. Next up, the scarier situation, Eric. So the scariest situation. So obviously we're putting ourselves in the POV of these characters, whether it's Mad Max, obviously, you got all of these gangs that are outlaws, and you get to a point where they're hunting you. And of course, with Escape from New York, you're inside of the maximum security prison trying to find the president. You have no idea if he's alive and so forth. So which movie gets the point for the scarier situation to be in?
Oh, Escape from New York. They both have the bad guys and everything, but the one thing that Escape from New York has and Mad Max doesn't is I've got some tiny bombs implanted in my body that will explode if I don't rescue the president and get him back in time. And first, I have to find him, and then I have to get him back. And then, can I really trust the government to take that stuff out of me? So, scarier situation is definitely Escape from New York.
All right. Yeah, that's a good point. Kill, how about you?
This is an easy street for me. One of our protagonists goes on vacation. So, and Eric said it best. I was definitely going to say it. Snake has to deal with time. He has explosives in his head. He has Isaac Hayes running New York. He has cannibals, sewer people, crazy gangs.
Wrestlers.
Wrestlers. I mean, it's just, and then, like Eric said, once he gets back to, the States, or to the government, are they going to do right by him? He has trust issues with them.
Right.
Mad Max, yes, there are some scary circumstances there. Obviously, Max has lost dear loved ones, but you always could just keep driving until you run out of, gasoline. You just keep going. just go. Just go. So yeah, I gotta go Escape on this one.
All right. Coriander, how about you?
I think for me, maybe going on vacation is not that scary, but what happens on that vacation, the death of your child and your wife, that's like the ultimate horror story. I mean, whether it's on film or in real life, I'm sorry.
Good
And
point.
she was like killed by a motorcycle, and the poor kid was DOA, when it arrived at the hospital. So, I mean, I think the scariest situation is Mad Max. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Real quick, too, Board now saying it's a toss-up, but Escape just edges it. Danielle saying, I'll give the scary situation to Escape because he was literally in a prison. Max had the world to go elsewhere. Well, if he had enough gasoline, if he could make it to other civilized places, there wasn't a lot of places to go to, man. Even the friggin' mechanic looked like he was like in the middle of Timbuktu. Scott saying scary situation, New York. That situation was so crazy. Yeah, you're the Duke. number 1. That's right. I think this is pretty tough. And actually, Coriander, you bring up a good point as far as, you're being hunted by these gangs and you're literally on your own, and you're outnumbered with support in a way. Now, so is Snake. But it's just interesting how both of these movies have a lot of tension that is building up for the protagonist. I mean, Snake even gets captured, and he has to fight gladiator style. I'm gonna slightly give this one to Escape from New York, based upon the fact that throughout the movie, from the very beginning, there was more opportunities for Snake to get totally aced out. I mean, he could have gotten aced out pretty much as soon as he got into
But
New
it's
York.
Snake.
He wasn't
Come
smart.
on.
Well, I
That's
know
not
that, but
gonna
I'm just saying. Well, he had help too. Brain and Cabby. I mean, they helped him. He wasn't. I know that the
Yeah.
movie talks about he's the deadliest man on earth. I get all that, and he's cool, but he had some serious help, because if Cabby didn't pick him up in the beginning when he was running from the gangs, I mean, how long could he have run away? And he doesn't know where to go.
He would have made it.
So,
Come on. Those tight pants,
okay.
he would have just
Okay.
made him go that much quicker.
I was waiting for it.
All
I
right.
knew it was coming. I
Yep.
knew it. It took longer
All
than
right.
I
normal.
was waiting for
I
an
know.
opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to our next thing. Eric, your favorite scene.
Okay. To be fair, because I know there's going to be probably a couple categories where I might pick something for that category. I'm going to go, honestly, I brought it up in my intro. I'm going to go with, it's short and sweet, but I'm a sucker for a wrestling match. And I love that fight to the death with Ox Baker, whatever his character's called, in Escape from New York. And the fact that Snake's kind of getting his ass handed to him until he gets that piece of wood with the nails in it, and he just
Mhm.
cracks him in the back of the head, and he just shows that, you know what, he may have been outweighed by 100 pounds, but he could still get the job done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good gladiator match. How about
Mhm.
you, Kill?
Yeah.
This might sound lame, but I honestly, mean this. Maybe that's why I chose this earlier. My favorite scene is pretty much the opening and introduction to Snake and the interrogation and so forth. And if you are a video game fan, it literally is Metal Gear Solid.
Yep, it
He's
is.
being interrogated, he's being told how to do the mission, and then he pilots a solo vehicle into the enemy area.
Mhm.
Shouts out to Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, I just loved seeing Kurt Russell be an asshole, be a dirty kind of. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I don't know, but it was just very interesting to see it and to see the back and forth with him and Lee Van Cleef, who also is a badass. And
Right?
it's just like, whoa, it's like, hold up, that's Lee Van Cleef. Like, what?
The good, the bad, and the ugly is like, if you
Yeah.
know, then he's about as
Yeah.
bad as it gets.
Yeah.
He almost beat up Clint Eastwood. Okay, this is who this guy is.
Exactly. And Snake is just there taking nothing from him. And
Right.
Tom Atkins is in the room too.
Yeah.
And it's just like Snake is just running the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that opening sequence there. So yeah.
All right. Okay, Coriander, how about you?
So my favorite scene is the Knight Rider and his chase scene all the way up to his death. I mean, there was pretty crazy crashes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, almost another toddler almost got killed in this movie.
Yes.
That would have been two,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. And the question is like when they shot that, I mean, it was real situations going on. There was no CGI, and it's
Yeah.
not like they had a ton of stunt doubles and a lot of money to do a lot of things. So when they had the toddler in the middle of the road, and just how the camera work, how they would keep up with the vehicles as they were accelerating, there's crazy stuff going
Yeah.
on. Good call.
Mhm.
Good call. For me, this is tough, man. I mean, and to your point, Coriander, I definitely enjoyed the chase scene, the Knight Rider chase scene, because it also introduces Max. And again, he was just chilling. He was having a
Mhm.
picnic. That's what Max was doing. He's having a picnic. This
He
is
was
just another
cleaning his car.
this
you
was another
know.
this was another Tuesday afternoon for Max. And okay, I got to save some people because they're hitting into populated territory. All right, I'll save you guys, And it was such a cool scene with all the stunts. But I have to give the point to Escape from New York. And Kill,
Ooh.
you said it really well. When Snake is basically getting all the intel, like every time I watch this movie, I've seen both of these movies so many times, but specifically for Escape from New York, once he and Hulk, kind of solidify their deal, he gets the antitoxin, which is of course the explosives. And then they got the table full of weapons. It's like, take your pick. You got Tom Atkins coming through like he always does. And they're just telling them about, New York. They're talking about the weapons. And, Hulk he was just such a funny character, just like Leningrad, it's like, he's poking at Snake. And then, of course, when he gets into the glider, that's one of my favorite scenes, just visually, the cinematography of Kurt in that one-man glider and the darkness and light illuminating. It was just cool, man. And like you said, this is totally what video games like Metal Gear have gotten the inspiration from. So I'm going to slightly give this to Escape from New York. But there's some great car chases, like you were saying, Coriander and Mad Max. Okay, real quick too in the chat. Let's see. Danielle saying, I don't remember my favorite scene, but when Max was left behind at the end, it was my most hated scene. Ooh, okay. Like after he got shot. That was a tough scene, man, when he got shot. But it was also kind of cool because it showed that he wouldn't give up. Like he made sure he could stand up even though he was on one leg. And the music. This is a scene, just to take a second here. This is one of those scenes where I thought the music was so fantastic in Max because it was literally showing you like a hero, rising against adversity. he was shot in the leg. He's being, he's outmanned by the bikers, by the toe cutter, and I think it was it Bubba? I think it was Bubba. But anyways, but he made sure he stood up and he continued to fight. He continued to get to that car so he could chase them down and take care of business. So, all right. Let's see. Scott saying, I'd probably say the opening of Escape from New York as well. You can never go wrong with Lee Van Cleef. That's right. That's right. Let's see. He's saying either that scene or when the president realized that Snake had swapped the tape. That was a good one. It was good. DJ's in the chat. What's going on, DJ? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right. Next up, favorite quote, Eric. Favorite quote.
This is tough.
Right?
I'm just trying to think of one. Okay. This might be kind of a cop out, but I'm going to put two scenes together because they work. Someone calls Snake Plissken and he says, "Call me Snake." But then later on in the movie, they call him Snake and he says, "Call me Plissken." It just goes to show just how tough, rough around the edges, and he just doesn't care type of character he is.
That's a good point. All right. Gil, how about you?
I was saving this, and this, I think Coriander, this was your favorite scene. I'm gonna go with the Knight Rider.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna go with just every single thing this maniac says over the loudspeaker as he's driving. He's the rock and roller. Do you see me, man?
Do you see me, Bronze?
Do you see me, Toke?
I am the Knight Rider.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like that for me is just like, okay, like who I want to know who the Knight Rider is now after all of this. Like, all right.
Hey, the toe cutter made sure he told you who he was. His name was the Knight Rider.
And remember him. Take off your hat.
Remember him.
It's like, whoa, okay. Can I get the prequel about the Knight Rider now? So, yeah, I'm going with that one.
That was good. Okay, Coriander, how about you?
So, yeah, I don't have one. I usually don't have a quote for you. Sorry.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Now, to me, I think that there's always, there's good ones in both, and someone in the chat was talking about, you're the Duke, you're number one. And of course, shout out to Donald Pleasance always, but I got to give this to Mad Max. I'm gonna slightly give this to Mad Max and Kill. I'm gonna tell you what mine is, but Kill, just to piggyback on the Knight Rider. Some of the stuff that he was saying was some batshit crazy stuff, man. He's like, "You should see the damage, Bronze, metal damage, brain damage. Are you listening?" He's like, "I'm a fuel injected suicide machine. I'm a rocker. I'm a roller and out of controller." It's just great, man. The stuff that he was saying, it was awesome stuff. But the one quote that really stands out to me a lot, and there's so many favorite ones, but I'm going to say this one because you already took that one, Kill. But I also really loved it in the trailer for Mad Max. And when we talked about Mad Max, what feels like a lifetime ago is more like 3 years ago. I kind of zeroed in on this too. But when Fifi is talking to Max and he's trying to keep him on the force, and he's like, "They say people don't believe in heroes anymore. Well, damn them." He's like, "You and me, Max, we're gonna give them their heroes." And it's like it kind of really illustrates their world, right? It's like there's no hope at all, and only a few people are clinging on to what they think is hope. And even Max says, "You don't believe me to fall for that crap, do you?" And Phoebe's like, "Well, it sounded pretty good when I said it, didn't it?" So it's like that in and of itself tells you that this world is pretty much gone. It's just heading right down the toilet. So I'm going to throw that out as mine. All right. Very, very cool. Let me, you're number one. Russell is a fan of Escape from New York. Yes. Let's see. It's Scott also. You're number one. You're the Duke. That is a good one. It really is. DJ saying, "I haven't seen any of these movies." Oh, wow. You guys got to watch some classics, man. Seriously. These are some good ones.
Good stuff.
They really, really are. It is good stuff. Seriously. All right. Next category, the toe cutter or the Duke. Who gets the point, Eric?
Okay, are we
Who's
going?
number one?
Well, here's the thing, man. Are we going with a scary villain or with a cool and smooth villain?
Right.
Oh, it's so damn tough. But as of right now, I'm going with Toe Cutter.
Okay.
And one of the main, and like I said, because I want a scary villain in this type of movie. And one of the things, like one of the scariest scenes with Toe Cutter for me, is when Goose is overturned in the car, and he has his little minion light a cigarette for Toe Cutter, and then the minion he brushes out the no, at first he's going to do the lighter, but no, he wants a match, and you got to strike the match on his jacket, and then he flushes out the match, and he tells him to light another one. And then he knows he's putting two and two together, and he doesn't want to do it, but it still happens, type of thing. So Toe Cutter is just a air quotes better villain as of this moment.
All right. Okay. Kill, how about you?
I like them both, but I like my villains scary. And Toe Cutter, for one, your name is Toe Cutter. Okay, I don't really need to know the backstory. I can kind of discern the name. But when you even first see him, he's unhinged. You just don't know what he's gonna do. He gets off of his bike, and it's like watching an emperor walk. Where
good point.
You have a lackey, fixing his hair, dusting him off, and he's talking to the guy, and he's looking at his friend's casket, and he just turns around so fast. And he's like, and the fear on that actor's face. Because you just don't know. You don't know what this guy is capable of. You don't know. At this point, you're watching a movie and you're just like, oh crap. Whoa. And as the movie goes on, this guy is capable of killing a wife and kids and so forth and things of that nature. Whereas the Duke is smooth. I agree with Eric. He's smooth. He's more predictable. To me, he's a little bit more predictable, and he's a little bit more agreeable. He can negotiate some stuff. There's no negotiating with Toe Cutter. Toe Cutter is an anarchist. Like I'm saying, he's Toe Cutter. Like, come on. So yeah, I gotta go with that one on Toe Cutter.
That was good. Good answer. Coriander, how about you?
So I have to go with Toe Cutter also. He's just, an evil, sadistic goon. And yeah, I got to give him my point.
All right. Okay. Both of these villains are great. And like you guys said, they do different things. One is definitely more outwardly intense. The other one is kind of cool, calm, collected, smooth. But this has to go to Toe Cutter. And shout out to Hugh Keays-byrne, who actually just passed away a couple years ago, who also played Immortan Joe in Fury Road. Let's just remember that. Like, how many times does that happen in a franchise where you literally are the villain that starts it all in the franchise, and you come back and play another villain? He was great in that role as well. But you guys said it, and Kill, you're right. He's just got this air of nobility in a way, but yet he's down and dirty. His lines were great. Every time he spoke, it was money. Isaac Hayes was great too. Every time he spoke, it was great too. But I'm just saying, with Toe Cutter, he was so unhinged. And I love it when he tells Bubba to go back for Johnny. He's like, I'm not going to go back for him. And he's like, but you won't be going back for him. You'll be going back for me. And I'm just like, this guy, don't mess with this guy. Like, it's crazy. So a great performance. You got to give it. Let me just say this too. I mean, obviously we love both of these films, but just because we're parking on Max here for these points, they've always had some great villains in these friggin' movies, man. And that's a really hard thing to do. Like we say, you always have to have a Trevelyan. The hero is only going to be as good as the villain that you have in the film. And the franchise for Max has definitely always had some great villains. So I'm going with the Toe Cutter. The Toe Cutter, he knows. He can hear me. All right. Scott saying that's a tie for me. Toe Cutter is the scarier villain, but the Duke is the Duke. There you go. Wayne's going with Mad Max. Okay. All right. We got Ginger Ninja in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey.
Very, very cool. Let's see. And yeah, that's right, Danielle. Doomsday, definitely a pretty cool mashup. No doubt about that. Yep. All right, guys. Next category. We're gonna go with Rockatansky or Pliskin. Who gets the point, Eric? Is it Max or Snake?
No lying here, man. Yeah, it's you can't make me vote against my man Kurt Russell. As much as I love you, Mel, as much as I love Mad Max, even it's Snake Plissken. He is, other than Jack Burton, he's like one of my favorite like movie characters, like action movie characters of all time. Just because he's so cool, he's so dangerous, but he doesn't really show you how dangerous he is unless he has to. And it's all about like he's got like a little bit of a swagger to him, that whisper and stuff like that. And he gets the job done, and in the end, he still gets the last laugh, type of thing. So,
all right, Kill. How about you?
I love them both, and it's almost unfair because if this was Mad Max 2, and you kind of see what Max grows into, or evolves, or devolves into, it's like, oh, that could be a little closer. But I'm going with Snake on this one. Because Snake comes in, I'm already the badass that you're gonna know, and this is me, and I don't take no shit. And it's Kurt Russell. It's Kurt Russell, and he just is just always good in everything he's in. So
even if he's Santa Claus, he's the man. You know,
if he's Santa Claus, he's the man.
All
no
right.
disrespect to Mel, we love Mel,
right?
Yeah, gotta go Snake.
Okay, all right, Coriander. How about you?
So I'm gonna go Rock Tansky there because okay, there you go.
Well, what's the reason? I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, because I don't know. I mean, Kurt's great. He really is. But this character he went through a lot. And at the start of the movie, he had everything. His best friend, he had his family, he had a life. And at the end of this movie, what did he have? Absolutely nothing. And he avenged his wife and child, I think pretty damn good, because he got them all. So yeah. And yeah, sure, Kurt did good, Pliskin did good. But I just think, when Pliskin left, he was a free man, he could go and enjoy his life. What did Max have? He had nothing. And what does the future hold? Well, we all know, but at the time we didn't. There was nothing. So yeah.
Good point. All right. To me, this is tough. I mean, these are two iconic characters. They really are. I mean, they're pretty much the benchmark for these types of movies, and both actors did a heck of a job portraying them. But this is really tough. I love both of these characters. I'm gonna, and you've got one that's a cop, you got one that's an ex-soldier, so they're both very capable of doing whatever they have to do, and so forth. And both of these movies showed a lot of different angles to them. But I think I'm gonna have to edge this out to Mad Max. And Coriander, you made a great point. We're talking about these two movies only, and within this movie, seeing his character arc to where he becomes basically dead. You have those scenes in the last 25 minutes where when he's driving and the look on his face, it's like, bro, I don't want to mess with this guy. He's just so dead inside because of the tragedy of what happens. And like you said as well, in this movie only, we don't know what's the future for him. He took the car That was unauthorized access to the vehicle. So he
Yeah.
basically becomes a
Nice
vigilante.
car.
I mean,
Hmm.
they're on the radio saying unauthorized access, blah blah blah, and he killed those guys. He literally went out and killed those guys. So, just the whole idea of the revenge and how it ends like that, like on that kind of like a cliffhanger. I gotta edge it out to Max, just barely, but it's really close. You asked me in a couple minutes, I might change it to Snake Plissken because they're both great, great characters. All right. That was a tough one. Real quick too in the chat. Hey, we got Rick's in the chat. Good to have you, man. We got a channel membership a month as a channel member. Very cool.
Yes.
Thank you so much, man. Mr. Rick, one of our newer channel members, and thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. Saying hi all. Sorry I'm late. Sucks that I miss the Patreon. Maybe next time. I enjoy these live feeds. Absolutely, man. Yeah, every Tuesday night we're here doing Battle World, and we're glad to have you here and much appreciated. And hope you're enjoying the conversation. And check out the replay. This was a really, really fun one. All right, let's go on to our next. Oh, actually, hold on. We got yesterday's in the chat too.
Hey,
All
Derek.
right. Very cool to have you here. Thank you for jumping in. Much appreciated. Let's see. All right. Okay. Next category, Eric. We're going to go to the finale of these films. The finale, which of course could be a couple minutes, could be up to maybe 15 minutes. Who gets the point for the better finale?
Okay. This is what I meant when I said, why I picked the wrestling match, because the finale of Mad Max is so good. It probably would have gotten that category, but I knew I'd be voting for this one. I love how he takes out everybody, and he's not Superman. He gets wounded and stuff like that. I like that. And
Mhm.
the first time I saw this movie, I was pissed that Toe Cutter wasn't the final one.
Yeah,
But
isn't that funny how that happened?
But
Yeah.
through frequent watches, the way this movie ends, and he does this kind of like he does this John Kramer type of thing. Hey, you can saw through the cuff, or you can saw through your
Yep.
leg. There's a time frame, and he just walks. And that ending shot when he's just driving away, and we're just waiting and waiting,
Yeah.
and George Miller is just dragging it out, and suddenly, boom,
Mm-hmm.
love it. No disrespect to the end. I love the minefield. I love Donald Pleasance losing his shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I like how Snake screws him at the end by switching the tape. But Mad Max 100%.
Okay. All right. Kill. How about you?
Let me preface this where I say I love them both, but this unfortunately is an easy street for me. It's got to be Mad Max. I mean, look, he's driving the black on black. He's mowing down these guys. He literally has a hit list in his head of all the guys of the gang. He's taking them out. He like Eric just said, he's doing his version of John Kramer on guys, and it looks bad ass. The way that the ending of this is filmed, it's vehicular poetry. And it's just revenge served beautifully. No disrespect to the ending of Escape, but yeah, I gotta go with Max on this.
All right, Coriander, how about you?
Yeah, I need to go with Mad Max also. I liked seeing him take revenge on all of, Toe Cutter's goons. And yeah, I mean, Escape was fun. It was a bummer when Brain, hit that mine and blew himself up. And, friggin' Adrian decides to, well, screw it, I'm just going to shoot at Duke's car and get killed, and they were both crazy, endings, but I enjoyed Mad Max definitely more.
Okay, all right. For me, I think they're both good finales. There's a lot of different things going on. Escape from New York has a lot of moving parts because that's just how it's built up. He's trying to rescue the president, and he's getting help from the Brain. But yeah, I got to go with Mad Max, and I think the thing that it does so well, even before the finale, it's ramping up to this moment, right? And especially after what happens with Jesse. I love the scene where, he's just kind of freaking out. He looks at that mask that he used to joke around with her about being a grumpy person. And then he's like, screw it. There's nothing that he says. And again, this is another great scene with the music. Like I said earlier, the music, it obviously, I went with Carpenter, but Mad Max has some great music. And this is another great scene. He goes to that chest, he opens it up, it's got his uniform. All of a sudden, he's walking in the halls of justice. He's in the garage, and then he starts up the car, and it's like, ooh. So it's like it's ramping up so much, and you're just anticipating how he's going to make these guys pay. And like you said too, Eric, it's funny because the first time that I really paid attention to it, it wasn't Toe Cutter that was at the end. You know what I mean? And that was kind of interesting how George decided to do that. But it's got so many great aspects to the finale. So I have to go with Max on this one. No doubt. Okay. All right. Real quick, let me catch up with these guys in the chat. Board now is going with Mad Max for the finale. Okay. All right. And I think that is okay. We got Ginger Ninja also saying Mad Max. He's going with Mad Max for the win. Okay. And let's go to our last category, our choose category. This will be our last one, where we're going to tally the points afterwards. So if you are going to be sending in a super chat to give points to one of these films, which also helps to support the channel, this is the last opportunity to do it. Once we're done this, we can't use those points to go to the films. So Eric, final category. You've got to choose one film over the other. Who gets the point? Is it Mad Max or is it Escape from New York?
If I'm picking between the two, I'm going Mad Max. Excuse me. Love them both for multiple reasons, but Mad Max to me has more fun because there are times, in my opinion, that I think Escape from New York kind of drags in the middle a little bit. I don't think there's any lag or drag with Mad Max at all from the beginning to the end. And again, it's a great revenge flick by the end of it. So I'm going with Mad Max.
All right. Kill, how about you?
This is tough. I love them both. I'm gonna choose Escape from New York because Mad Max is a little heavier. Anytime kids, pass away or really, really sweet wives, that's heavy. I don't get that same heaviness when I watch Escape. And just because of just how cool Kurt Russell plays Snake, it's just entertaining to watch it. It's just entertaining to watch him get one over on Donald Pleasance and so forth. I love them both, but when I weigh in all of the things that we went over tonight and all the factors in my head, the soundtrack, etc., watchability, I slightly have to go with Escape.
Okay. All right. Coriander, how about you?
I am gonna choose Mad Max.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, this is really tough, man. Both of these movies are great for what they do, and there's a lot of fun to be had. I think that I've watched these movies a lot over the years, and I've had phases where I've watched maybe one more than the other. But I'm gonna base this on, and I'm gonna count that as a tie because I've loved both of these films since I was a little kid. But I'm gonna base it off of The Last Watch, which was what we did right before this episode, and I'm gonna give this point to Mad Max. And the reason I'm gonna give the point to Mad Max, when we were done watching it, I remember I was saying to Coriander, we were talking about it for a few minutes afterwards. I was just like, man, that movie's got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, it really, when you think about all the little plot points of his character arc and the transition from just a regular guy, he's a cop, he's seen a lot of crap, but he's just a regular guy into what he becomes because his world is torn apart. And also just all of the stunts, all the practical work, all the stuntmen who probably will never be remembered for the great work that they did. I gotta edge it out to Mad Max a little bit. I love Escape from New York, and like if you ask me in another minute, I probably would change my answer. But for right now, I'm gonna edge it out to Mad Max. Okay. All right. Ooh, this was a tough one, man. It really,
Mhm.
really was. Paula going with Mad Max, Scott going with Escape from New York, Danielle going with Mad Max, Wayne going with Mad Max. That does not surprise me.
Mhm.
Ginger Ninja, okay, not giving an answer there, but Ginger Ninja, let us know which one you're gonna go with. Board Now is going with Escape. Ginger Ninja is going with Mad Max. Wow,
Of
so it's
course.
back and
Yep.
forth, back and forth. The Australians have spoken. They are
Yeah.
hanging in there with Mad
no,
Max.
no bias there.
They're hanging in there. But both of these films are so good, though, man. It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah. All right. So let's do our recap while I count up the points. This is going to be right down the line, man. Mr. Rick going with Escape from New York, by the way. Let's do the quick recap, guys, as I count the points. Eric, we'll start with you. What did you think about this whole matchup?
Ooh, I didn't think it would be as tough this time because I've only seen Mad Max, less than a handful of times, and I've seen New York maybe a dozen. But ooh, sometimes it just takes one viewing to turn your perspective around. They're both fun movies. They both have great lead characters. Both are badass characters played by badass actors in their own right. And what I like is they're both early on in these actors' careers, so we can see where they've both started compared to where they are now. And it's just kind of just the beginning to see how great of a career Mel had with memorable characters, how great that franchise kept going. And with Snake, well, he went to LA and things weren't as cool, but he was still cool, if you ask me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but lots of fun. And the fact that George Miller is still pumping these movies out. And
Mm-hmm.
to my knowledge, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Knight, I think he's directed every single one,
Yep.
including the
Mhm.
prequel that's coming out, Furiosa.
Yep.
That
Yep.
that's something to be said, dude. That's
50
awesome.
years, bro.
Yeah.
50 years.
That's freaking awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
this was a lot of fun. And then, like I said, I didn't expect it to be this tough.
Well, I did expect it to be this tough. Like I knew it was going to be a battle, and it went back and forward. Whichever movie wins, they're both great movies, and both Mel Gibson and Kurt Russell are great, and they're great in this movie. And to my knowledge, they've been together in one movie that I can think of. It was this movie called Tequila Sunrise with Michelle
Mm.
Pfeiffer. They both were in it together. But to see these two gentlemen do their thing on the big screen as these characters, it has influenced so much. And guys in the chat, if you have not seen these movies, please do yourself a favor, check them out. Obviously, the Escape from New York franchise, there's only really two entries: Escape from New York and Escape from LA. But check them out. They're great movies, and of course, the Mad Max franchise. No words are needed there. But to me, they still hold up, and they're still awesome.
Okay. Are you ready, Knight?
Did you have anything you wanted to throw out? Don't ask me if I'm ready, man. I'll let you know.
No, not really.
Okay. All right. So this was right down the line as we all expected on the panel. And man, we've only got a couple points of difference in the score
Mm-hmm.
here. This was crazy. It really went back and forth, almost category by category. And we actually more often than not we agreed on most all these categories. But the winner by a score of 31 to 27, only a 4-point difference. The winner is Mad Max.
All
Yeah.
right.
Pulled out the victory. Wow.
Right.
Wow. It was really, really close. And it's interesting because when we have these categories, we have certain categories that we always have, whether it's openings, finales, the characters, supporting characters, and it really went back and forth. It was actually a really cool, just cool seeing how the votes landed. But there we are. Mad Max wins. Ginger Ninja's like, yeah,
Ginger just did a backflip.
he did.
Australia has
Uh,
spoken.
That's right. Gene, have a good night. Saying have a good night. Thank you so much for
Night.
being here. We appreciate
Good
that.
night.
Hope you have a great night. Kay's in the chat. What's going on? Good to see you. Paul is happy. There you go. You guys, that's pretty cool. Danielle's happy. That's great. Scott said definitely got to watch the replay. This was good. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. It was a really, really fun one. These are two great movies. And, you know, again, we know a lot of people, we heard this in the chat, and obviously there's probably a lot of people that, you know, weren't, you know, big on these movies, as you could see, you know, from here tonight. But these are great movies. If you haven't seen them, you should check them out. They're really, really good, and they're cult classics from back in the day. Old school filmmaking, guerrilla filmmaking, practical effects, practical stunts, awesome soundtracks. So it's really cool stuff, guys, and that's why we wanted to do that tonight. So we'll see if we come back to this world again, which hopefully we will. Val said Mad Max is a fun watch. It is. It really is. No doubt. No doubt. Okay, guys. And you have a great night too, Scott. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And again, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support the channel. We'd appreciate that. It helps us to continue to do this series week in and week out. So that'll be that. We will catch you guys next time. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Cheers.
Peace.
Upchurch.